Uh, Prelims 2026 is 47 days away, and lakhs of people right now are probably wondering, am I doing enough? Am I studying the right things? Will I make it or not? So today I have with me someone who had that exact same feeling, maybe similar feeling, and she cracked one of India's toughest examination, ranking 284th in the entire country. So Anusha AS from Kerala, I welcome you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So my very first question will be a bit psychological. So Anusha, the night before your prelims examination, what was the exact thought that was coming in your mind?
So, I would say this was my third prelims exam. So, in the first two prelims, night before the prelims exam, I was very nervous and I could not sleep and all. So, all those things were there. But in my third prelims exams, it was completely opposite. I slept very sound sleep. So, I was like, Abhi, I don't care about anything. I have done what I have done. Now, whatever has to happen will happen tomorrow. So I was not worried at all in my final attempt, the last one.
And now, when did you first decided or say out loud that I want to become a civil servant or I want to prepare for this examination?
Yes. So actually, I had this in the back of my mind when I was doing my college days preparation and all. But the sound thing came when we saw some civil service officers in action. Like I belong to Kerala, so Kerala faced the 2018 floods, as we all know. So at that time, I was part of my NCC activities on flood coordination and all. But I was wondering how these activities, since we had multiple channels of volunteers working, how is this getting coordinated or who is leading this team? How is this getting handled? So when we found out that, and when we learned about Dr. Vasuki ma'am, who was the district collector of Thiruvananthapuram at that time, and lots of other people also, their respective districts, they were doing. And when we found out that this service gives you that opportunity, that is when it was the correct time when I decided that I would be going to the service.
Kerala had a long legacy of bureaucrats and decorated civil servants. Many belong to one place, Palakkad, and thus it also inspired you somewhat.
Yes, sir, of course, sir. And also in my college too, they had a lot of civil servants, older civil servants were there. And with respect to my college, I had got an opportunity to interact with the chief secretary at that time. So, looking at all these people and following their footsteps was one of the inspiration.
Nice. One big problem that aspirants are facing nowadays is CSAT, and CSAT has become a silent killer. So, did you also felt the heat of CSAT, or what was your approach to overcome that?
So, in generally, I'm coming from a science background, so I had a sound background in maths up to 12th class. But then I had saw how CSAT humbled me in 2023 because I used to think that I will qualify the cutoff anyway. I know utna to aata hai, like I might know how to just get qualified rather than score a top marks. So it was very humbling for me in 2023. I realized that one cannot take it for granted, and I began to prepare specifically for CSAT. Now, the reason why I didn't face much problem was I was used to writing SSC exams also, sir, in between. So I was preparing for that, the maths part especially. And in reasoning, I didn't have any problem because of the background I already had. So this was my CSAT thing.
And how did you approach PYQs? Like many toppers say that I relied on PYQs for prelims. So were you just solving it or were you making notes out of it?
So for CSAT or for both general studies?
For general study to be specific.
Okay. So for general studies, what I followed was PYQs completely. As I told you, this was my third attempt. And in the first two attempt also, I had taken this PYQ thing very lightly. I was just keeping on solving the questions. And in a way, when you solve the questions a lot, it gets stuck to your mind. So you already know the answers. So you're not learning the what's behind that question, what UPSC has intended behind that question, but you are just learning to mug up the question. So I chose that approach differently in this attempt. So what I did was, whenever I practice a PYQ, like if it is in geography, if it is about some lakes, then I will go and check about the lakes. If it is about shrinking of a lake, then I'll be reading, when I'll be reading the current affairs, I'll be scanning for the lakes which are shrinking. Or if it is about a national park, then I'll be learning about the specialities of the national park. Then if it is about any international organization, mostly UN related organizations are there in the news. So when I check the current affairs, I'll be learning on these current affairs. So that's how I used to make notes on these PY. I used to have notes on the PYQs, but not on every other PYQs. If they are similar set of PYQs, then I'll be having just one note for which is covering the whole thing. But otherwise, I did have a book where I have made some notes specifically on the PYQs. So.
And one of the problem that majority of aspirant faces, that they are preparing for 2 days, 3 days, or maybe 10 days with a very good discipline, and then comes one off day, and then they are not able to recover from it. There comes a patches also, small patches where you are not that disciplined. So did you also felt that, and how did you sit with it?
Yes, I had a lot of those rest days, I would say, than the preparation days. And I was even wondering that how is this going to go about if you are taking too much rest and if you are spending too much time doing nothing. So that's when a friend of mine also said, sir, in UPSC, it's also the days where you are not doing many things that you are also contributing to yourself. Because ultimately, it's not about who is sitting at the table and who is mugging up all the facts and all, but sometimes you need to have some days off. Some days you might think, because it helps you excessively in ethics essay or interview. Even when you sit with your thoughts, when you're just not studying anything, you're just learning something and you are thinking about things, you're reflecting on your thoughts, so that also helps. But I wouldn't recommend to sit on like a whole week. You cannot sit. You can take a day or two off, but you don't need to get discouraged for that. You can come back with a lot of energy the next day. And however, I would also emphasize that it is important that we spend at least some hours studying, even on our rest days, because that helps us to keep our mind in the loop. So at least we are there. Otherwise, we'll just feel totally detached from the exam. So it's important to have some connection to it.
In mock test, then there is a lot of debate that some toppers say that they had attempted 200, 300 mock tests. So, how many mock tests you were giving for the prelims, and what was your approach?
So for the prelims, I think I might have given a lot of mock tests because it's my third attempt. I don't remember the number. But sir, with regard to the tests that I attended personally, I think those tests helped me. The ones which I went to the institute or went to the center which they were organizing offline, those tests I have attended, and that I might have attended only on the Sundays. Like on April and May, we have like four, so 8 Sundays. So 8 mock tests I might have done. But since I've been in the preparation for so long, I might have done more than eight, not just eight. As well, with regard to mock test, what I feel is, mock test we need to take it with a pinch of salt, because UPSC's PYQ is completely different thing. Even in mock test, sometimes we will have completely different sets of questions they are asking, completely factual thing, like for example, where is this ABC island, or something like that they might ask, and we might not know the answer. And with that, our marks will be affected, and then we'll sit like, no, now we don't, why are we writing this exam? There is no use, we are writing this exam and all. So at that times, what we need to know is that PYQs are our main source, and they will be influencing our test papers. How we are approaching the PYQs, how we are solving it, how we know the background behind the PYQs helps in it. So in the last few days, probably in the last 3 weeks or in the May space, what I used to do was solve PYQs again. the ones that I have done. So I used to have a book for that. We usually get a PYQ book and all. So I used to solve them, each of them. I might have done it earlier, but I'll solve it again. I'll check it if I have done it correctly or not. What did I do wrong? Where did I do wrong? How did I do wrong? So it's a different way how you have mistakes in PYQ solving too. So for one time you solve the PYQ, you will solve it in this way and you will mistake it in one way. The other time you will have a mistake in another way. So you need to correct your brain to that. How did we go about this mistake? So that's how I used to do. And in the last week, sir, I didn't take a mock test. Although, yes, in the last attempt, I felt like I'll just give a mock test and all, but it was very depressing since I got 76 around in the GS part. So I felt that now there is no use. I'm getting only 76. So I would not recommend anyone to take it in the last week. It pulls you down a lot. But even then, what kept me going was I had this feeling that I have done the PYQs very well this time. So this mock test result is not going to affect the chances. So that's how I went about.
And this specifically, this whole preparation journey is very lonely. And you see the society, specifically developed states like Kerala. Now people are going abroad, and people are earning money, getting married, enjoying life. So, did you ever felt the same way that am I going forward or backward? How did you handle this pressure?
So for me, this loneliness has been a part of my life. I'm a single girl child. So loneliness doesn't actually affect me a lot here. And since I was preparing from home, I was facing it a lot. And since this journey had taken a longer time, I faced this isolation. With regard to, as you said, sir, my friends were into better positions. They had gone for PhD. Some had gone for other jobs. They had taken a professorships and all. So when you see them and when you see yourself failing at these two attempts, you'll feel completely lonely. At that point, I would recommend, if it is taking a toll on you, it is very good to have a circle of friends. I had a very good circle of peers, sir, who were studying with me. So they will understand your problems better and they'll be there to handle you. And when you know that you are not alone in this, it helps you a lot. So there will be always someone that, okay, I got 70. Oh, I got 63. So it's like sharing your grief and, sharing your problems. So when this happens, it helps to have a shoulder to lean on. So if you have a circle of friends, or even if you don't have a circle of friends, you should have at least your parents. You should find someone who can comfort you in that situation. If you don't have friends, you can go for parents or for the mentors in your academy. I think everyone knows how we go through, and most probably the mentors are the people who have been through this journey. So they'll definitely know how to handle that. So it's always good to have someone to support you through this journey.
And did you ever went to Delhi to those coaching hubs and prepared there, or did you prepared from your home, Kerala itself? And were you feeling that you are not getting the best of coaching, FOMO? I should go to Delhi. How did you handle that this FOMO as well?
Yes, sir. FOMO is something that we face a lot of time with regard to UPSC, since we have a lot to cover in this exam journey. But sir, for Delhi, I didn't feel a FOMO. But in the first two attempts, the third time when I was thinking of 2025 attempt, I was thinking whether I should change my place, because many were advising me that since you are preparing from home, you are preparing from a very comfort position, so you should make yourself uncomfortable, only then you will clear the exam. And so I had heard many thoughts like that. I had even applied to some Bangalore based institute too, for a change of atmosphere. And but then eventually, sir, I was thinking on it a lot, I was reflecting on it a lot, and I came to the decision that the coaching that I had gotten here, and due to the availability of the coaching materials in online medium, I think the coaching structure was okay. The only problem people faced was my comfortableness. So if that is their problem, not my problem, I felt, and I even had a talk with my parents too on this, and they said that you should think about it. And when I thought about it, I felt that you should be comfortable at the position. In this journey, if you don't have that comfort level, to, then it is going to be hard. So I felt that I should act from the position of my strength, and my strength is studying here, and I've studied here for a long time, so it's not going to backfire. Eventually, if you make it or you don't make it, it's your decision, so you're not going to regret it a lot. So trusting my decision was an important part. Trusting my decision to study at my home, at my locality, in my state, was the one thing that I made, which was very better.
And when supposingly you are in exam hall, you are giving prelims, and one after another there are five questions, and you are not sure about it. I would not say that you don't know, but you are not sure about it, and it is a very difficult thing to handle, a difficult place to be. So, did you ever faced it, and what was your mental process for it?
Yes, immensely in 2025. I still remember I do it, the questions in rounds, the first round, second round, and third round, and all. So I was very comfortable solving the question paper. I was like, I am acing this exam. This is going to be the attempt and all. And at that moment, I find at 11:15, sir, the last 15 minutes, I find that I had skipped a page completely. And that was the page which had this new economy question, sir. There were not that questions earlier based on numericals of physical deficit, some numbers they had given. But once when you see it at the last 15 minutes, it's tough for you. You are like, oh my god, there's a lot of numbers in this question, and it's economy. How am I going to do it? I'm failing this time too. So all the whole page I had just flipped it, and I had not noticed it. So in the last 15 minutes, I'm seeing that I have not done those questions. And at that moment, I partially decided that this attempt is also gone. But then I thought that if I'm going out of the exam hall now, will it be okay if I give these questions, attempt these questions and go, or skipping this completely and go? So I chose the other, sir. Whatever happens, let's see, but I am attempting these questions. I know I have not gone in rounds, I don't have time for it, but with whatever time I have, I'm going to solve this. And when I solved this, sir, when I found out in the key, three questions were right, two were wrong. So it was highly returns for me. And I even felt that that one decision made the difference this time. So that happened to me.
And suppose you are giving the prelims examination, and we have approximately 45 days. So what would be your plan, and how you would have gone about it?
Yes, sir. Since I'm already having a background, I might only need to have refreshing the knowledge that I already have. So I would go about by fixing my foundations, because there will be a lot of things that I might have forgotten, and there will be very factual things in geography and all to remember the tributaries and all that will be there. So I'll be charting a timetable, sir, probably in a reverse way. Uh, like 1 week from the exam, what will I be doing? Then 2 weeks from the exam, what will I be doing? Then apart from that, so in a reverse planning, I'll be doing. And so I'll mostly, my focus will be on revising the basics, the foundations, and then if time permits, I'll add a level of difficulty which is integrating the current affairs with it in the next few weeks. But first, I'll be clearing up all the basics, and that will be over soon. And then current affairs, and then I'll, in the May, as I did earlier in the month of May, I'll be doing PYQs again, because we cannot take it for granted. No matter how many times we have solved it, we need it again, because only when you solve PYQs again and again, you'll get into the language of the paper. Even for CSAT, I would recommend that. So for CSAT also, I had this solving the PYQs extensively helped me to increase the accuracy in reading passages. Sometimes we take that for granted. So in the month of May, I'll be doing completely PYQ along with revision. So I think, so in 45 days, I might be able to do 3 rounds, but for someone else, maybe 2 rounds only. If situation is that complex, then maybe you'll get only 2 rounds. And then in the last weeks, I'll assign each day for each subject. Like if the exam is on Sunday, then I'll be Monday I'll be doing polity, then Tuesday I'll be doing geography. So the goal is that, sir, if it is 48 days, so if we subtract 7 days from there, in those 48 days I must make that content in such a way that I'll be able to revise them in one day. So initially I might be revising polity for 3 days, then I'll bring it down to 2 days, and then on the last week I'll bring it down to 1 day. So if we have a definite structure, and then if we are making sure that PYQs are also revised along with, and then we need to have faith in us, then it will be easier for us. So even if 48 days are left.
Did you deactivated all the social media accounts, or you were active there as well?
I deactivated Instagram because it was very distracting. Once you go on Instagram, you're always on Reels, and after 2 hours, you realize that you're still in Instagram. So Instagram I deactivated, sir. But the rest of them, WhatsApp and all, I had it. I was in loop with whatever was happening with my friends and all. I used to get demotivated sometimes, but I was like, it is part of my life now. You cannot completely hide from that. You need that sometimes to get motivated. So WhatsApp, I was there fully active, but Instagram I had deactivated, sir.
And what was your optional, and how did you choose it?
Yes, sir. Sir, my optional was zoology, and I'm a postgraduate in zoology. So I chose that subject. First was purely my interest in the subject, and second, because I had prepared it, I have done it for 5 years. So I felt that somewhere when I took out the syllabus and when I saw the questions, I felt that these are the questions which I've already written in college and some exams. I've already done that, so I'll be able to do that here also. That's why I chose it, sir. But I had this doubt going into the exam that not much people have scored about 200, or the ones who have not made it, they haven't scored 200 or sizable amount of marks as we compare it with other optionals. There have been toppers, sir. There have been rank 28, rank 4, and all. But when we compare to the larger people who have given the optional, we don't see much of them as compared to other humanities options. So that was a doubt that I had. But so the preparation was just like I did in college. I just had the syllabus in my hand. I had the PYQs, so I used to relate it with that. And since we have a huge syllabus load in this exam in zoology, so I filtered out the content in that way. I used to only read what was there in the syllabus, what has been asked repeatedly. The rest of them I used to just have a glance on it, and that's how I prepared, sir. I scored 280 marks, which was, I felt that that was the reason why I am here in the list. It's a very good marks in zoology, so I felt very happy on that too. Something that I have done for 5 years that made the difference.
You had studied from University of Kerala.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to name any of the professor who helped you develop the interest in zoology and make good foundation?
Uh, yes, sir. My HOD Aruna ma'am, my head of the department was there, so she was one of them. But even before that, sir, during my 12th class, my biology teachers, there were a lot of biology teachers, so they all helped me to develop interest in zoology, sir.
And another thing is that now general study has a vast syllabus, and things like ethics are completely not related to what you study in prelims or what you generally study in general studies. So, how did you manage to consolidate the juggernaut of general study?
Yes, sir. So mostly because I was part of a repeaters program in the first two attempts, now some of the syllabus were covered in that way, mostly related to the answer writing. I was part of in my institute, so I had covered it in that way. So most of the portions were covered. But sir, I would say the real game started only when after completion of the prelims, when the results came, that is when everything started. But consolidation was there already. So I used to practice daily answer writing in my institute, and that program was very effective in consolidating all the materials. So we also used to get some ready-made materials, and you also have it available online from different institutes on GS 1, 2, 3. You already have the materials, and also GS 4 also material is there. So content is not an issue there. The variety would be in producing those answers, in writing those answers in that moment. So I used to practice that there. But sir, in GS4, in ethics, what I found was, even though content was available, it is all about how you are writing that answer, how you are able to link it, how you are able to link all that you have studied into those 15 markers and all these questions, how you are able to bring that. So I felt that answer I didn't face much problem, because I used to love reading about ethics and all and writing these answers. Because somewhere my hobby is also reflective journaling, so I used to reflect a lot. I just write about random thoughts and all, so it was not much problem for me. That's how I went about in GS.
And when did you started answer writing? Because there are lots of perspectives. Some say that while you have started preparing, along with that, you are still doing basics and you should write. And another perspective is that first complete the entire syllabus once and then start writing. So, what was your approach?
So I would say one can write an answer at any stage, but there will be a difference in your answers whenever you are writing. So if you want a very good answer, then I would recommend you to have a basic knowledge about it and then write the answers, because then your answer will have substance. Otherwise, since general studies is made for anyone to write the answers, when you look at the question itself, anyone can write the answers. Anyone will have an opinion on whatever is asked, so anyone will be able to write the answers. But then if you want your answers to have substance in it, to have at least some sort of relevance to the answers, then we will need to have a strong background, a strong foundation before we start writing answers. At the same time, sir, I would not recommend you, I would not recommend someone to fuss over answer writing just from the starting of the preparation, because that might make us discouraged. So it is always better to have a solid foundation first, with NCRTs or with the standard books, and then start answer writing. However, I think the huge difference is made when we do the answer writing practice in those 3 months. That is what gives you the final push and final momentum. That is when we need to rise up to the occasion. So, since it is already there and you are already going to do that, when you are going into the exam cycle, I would not say to, be very tensed about answer writing from the very beginning. After a strong foundation, we can start answer writing.
And were you making notes digitally or pen paper?
So I'm someone who prefers writing the notes, sir, because I'm someone who believes that when I write the notes, it automatically gets feeded on my brain. Digitally, it's fine for me. Some of the notes were there in the digital format, but even then, I'll make an effort to take a printout of it and have it in my hand. So I'm not someone who's a fan of digital notes. But at the same time, I used to have my contents in writing. I used to believe that this content gets ingrained in my brain when I write. So first round of revision is over already when I'm writing those answers. And since on the final exam in mains especially we are writing it, I think it would be an asset to you if you write the notes. But I also appreciate that since we have some lack of time and we are running behind a lot of things, if you are comfortable with digital space, then I would also recommend you to try digital notes.
And a very difficult paper, a paper which has become very decisive as well. And students do not have clarity about it. Essay paper. So we do not have any books. We do not have any kind of a specific resources. How did you started preparing for essays?
So, in fact, I would say that I never prepared for that paper, essay paper, because sir, I used to be a writer. I used to write a lot, even in my school days and college days. I was, constantly participating in essay writing competitions and all. But when I came to this preparation, I realized that those essays are not at all of any value. We need a different thing, wholly different thing here. So, I didn't prepare specifically for essay as such during my preparation cycle, sir, but I used to write a lot. I used to write a lot on previous year essays, even in the course that I had joined, or otherwise also. I used to take the topic and I used to write a lot of essays. And since we have limitations on that too, sir, we will need to sit for 3 hours or 1.5 hours will go for essay and all. So what I used to do, as I mentioned earlier, sir, my hobby is reflective journaling. So each and every day I used to just pen down my thoughts on random things which I might have seen, like I might have encountered recently during my mains preparation and all. I had this woodpecker coming on my windowsill, so I imagined some things about it and I used to pen it down in my journal. And then the next day I might get another thought, then I pen it down. Or even in YouTube or WhatsApp, sometimes we see inspiring stories. So there is a Hawksaw Ridge movie, so about that I used to write down. So whenever I had time, I used to practice this extensively, especially in my mains. In those 3 months, what I did this exercise very completely, that I used to write every day on random thoughts, every day on everything that was happening around me. So how it helped was, it helped to get out the words from my mind. It's very difficult to bring them out in that particular scenario. So I didn't want to have a brain freeze in my essay paper. So I was continuously working on my brain, continuously making it work on thoughts. So in those 3 months I prepared like that. Apart from that, I had not really prepared it. But then I had this notes on how I will approach an essay, because I was facing fluctuation of marks in my essay papers. So I felt that okay, I'll have this approach, I'll have that approach. Then I used to also have examples of how I might have some general examples which I can use everywhere, or some essays which I had felt very good, I might write that. So that's how the whole essay thing went about. So I didn't prepare it specifically because I felt that will take away the originality from me. And so I remember that even when one of my sirs here in my institute, when he was evaluating my essay, he said that this is what I like about your essay. You are going in a way that I might not have encountered in other papers. So I felt that somewhere we need our original thoughts. So to prepare for essays, we need that originality, and for that we will need to force our brain to write a lot. That's how I went about for essays, sir.
Were you reading newspapers daily, and how you were utilizing newspapers? Were you making daily notes, or you were taking out examples?
Yes, sir, newspapers, but I won't say that I was a regular reader, sir. I used to miss out on newspapers a lot. I might be reading it for 1 week and then the next 2 days I will just completely ignore that, since I'll be getting the news from other sources and all. So some days I'll skip the newspaper, some days I'll read the newspaper. But whenever I read the newspaper, sir, I might take the examples out of them for ethics or for GS or for my optional something like that. I used to take out some examples from them and I used to note it down. And that notes I made it digitally, sir. That was something I had to do digitally, because then only then you can update the notes. So I used to read the newspaper, sir. But sir, I would say I was a regular reader of newspaper only when I cleared mains exam, and then when I was selected for the interview, only then I could do it without skipping a day. But apart from that, it was very hectic, and since you are also running out of time, I could not do it every day. But there was not a lot of gap in skipping also, so that's how newspaper helped me.
And about the personality test. Personality test is something where you are not preparing for personality test from day one. You are writing answers, you are solving MCQs, reading books. So when you got selected for the personality test, how did you prepare for it?
Yes, so the main thing was to prepare my DAF very well and to learn from the DAF itself, because the 90% questions would be from DAF. That's what we had been told about. So I was preparing my DAF itself, sir. And in communication, I didn't face much problem because I have been an orator, and I have been to youth festivals, and also communication was not an issue for me. So I focused on the general awareness and the issues around me, the issues concerning my state, anything related to my hobby, anything related to my DAF, anything that I might have written. All that I used to prepare. And sir, I also had a peer group. because we used to have these sessions at 6 o'clock in the evening. We used to sit and we used to ask each other questions, disguised as mock panelists and all. We used to have, and then sir, we also had a group discussion group. So in that we used to take an issue and then we used to have the opinions, similar to an interview. Like if this structure of GST has been changed, then we asked that what is the slab now and all. So we used to discuss on it every night. We used to have that, and at the end of the session we used to have a panel mock for one of our group members. So that is how I prepared, sir. And newspapers I had added earlier that I used to extensively read newspaper during this time. This is how the preparation went, sir.
And once you enter the Dholpur house, there must be so much nerves entering it for the very first time. So, what you were reflecting on, how you were preparing yourself mentally for the interview?
So I felt that I was reflecting and preparing a lot before entering the place. Before entering, the week before and the day before, I was preparing through a lot. I was writing a lot what is going to happen. I'm consoling myself and I'm already preparing for positives and negative. I'm writing that. But so once I entered it, I was very free. I was very casual. I don't know what happened, but I was very chill, I might say. Because when you enter and the one difference that I faced was when you show your Aadhaar card and all, the security guard, they address you as ma'am. And when they address you as someone else, and usually when you go to the exam hall, they don't give that respect. But when you enter Dholpur house and you are being addressed as ma'am, आपके documents कहाँ हैं, ma'am, your photos and all, you feel that you have done something in your life, you have made a change, and you have reached a very important position. So when I heard that, I felt very chill. I was very calm at that moment, and I began socializing with my other fellow interview mates. And they also said that you look very calm. It's like you have done this a number of times. I said, you don't know how I was a day before, but I'm very chill now. So that was how appearance my mind was. And sir, I was just preparing that this was my third attempt. This was the attempt that I had clear prelims, and in that attempt only I have reached the interview stage. Now it doesn't really matter how it goes about, but you have done something, so I was preparing my mind like that.
And which board you got?
Some Sujata Chaturvedi ma'am.
So, yeah,
It's
that's
good.
very- Any difficult question that you faced in the interview?
So I would say on the whole, the vibe was very difficult because I was the last person in that week, the second last person in evening, and also on that week, Friday, second last person. So they were already very tired asking questions. And when I saw the other batchmates who had on the previous day and all, they were like, mine was very good. The board was very cordial. But my board was like constantly like vigilant type. They were stressing me a lot. So whatever answer I gave, they were like not approving of it. They were showing this expression. They were very serious. But I felt that maybe this is a kind of thing that they follow to, make you feel less confident and all. But that was not affecting me, sir. Since I had told you that I was feeling chill, I was content with myself. So I was like, no, this is the answer. You ask me the next question. So I was answering it in that way. A difficult question, yes, sir. There was a difficult question. Mostly, sir, the questions were not based on my DAF. They were completely unrelated questions. I had only two questions on one on Kerala and one on NCC. So some questions were there, but rest of them was completely random questions. So in Kerala, one board member asked me, Kerala is known as God's own country. Why? So this is a common question that we prepare a lot. So it was very easy. But when we went forward, the last board member asked me, okay, Kerala is known as God's own country, but it is known as a devils of paradise or something. I'm not remembering correctly. It is also known as that. Are you familiar with that? So at that point, I was taken aback suddenly. I was like, I have not heard of this. What am I going to reply? So I said, Sir, I was calm about it, and then I took a pause there. And when I took a pause, the chairman intervened and asked, "Yes, sir, is it known as that?" And then the discussion became between both of them. So I narrowly escaped than answering in a controversial way. And the next follow-up question was, there is high literacy, but there is also high suicide rates. So that is how he asked. So he mentioned about the state of contradictions. So that's what he asked by Devil's Paradise and all. So I replied it in that way, and I also included the other context. So it went smoothly. I felt that was a difficult question to answer.
Any one book apart from what we read in the UPSC as part of the syllabus, any one book that you will recommend to everyone?
Yes, sir. So I had this thing when I was preparing for mains, sir. You constantly need self assurances. So it's a common book that we all read apart from UPSC. It's Ikigai, sir. Ikigai, I used to refer it now and then. I used to just, whenever I feel disturbed, I used to take that book, just open any random page, and I used to read that. So it felt like a message to yourself from the universe, a message to calm your mind and all. So coincidentally, whenever I was going through inconsistencies, the page that I open will be about developing a habit, developing how to develop a repetitive habit. So that felt happy, that helped me a lot in my preparation. And apart from Ikigai, sir, The Alchemist also helped me. So apart from that, I would recommend you to read these two books. Usually, we all say that we will read these books. We have already read these books and all. But it is only when you read it with conviction, when you understand what the reader is trying to say, when you resonate with the person's journey, that you actually have read the book. So usually we have a superficial reading of the these two. I might say that they're generic books, non-fiction that everyone reads, but you have to understand the author, you have to understand how that journey has been there, or what has been intended. That's only when you get that inside your brain. So these two books helped me a lot.
Uh, one more thing is that there is a constant comparison trap. You are forced to compare nine institutes also, that who has scored good marks, good copies. It is going everywhere. And once you are attempting, when you are in the first attempt, the confidence is usually high, and it goes down now after failing in the first attempt. So how you are handling it?
Yes, sir. I also face constant comparisons. Not that someone used to compare it, I used to compare it myself. So I was never the person who was in the top list, top 10s or top 20s whenever the list used to come, even for prelims and even for mains. So our institute had this thing where they used to only reveal the names of first 10 people. The rest of them will be roll numbers. So I was a person whose name was never there in the first few tests. So in prelims, it was never there. So I used to watch these topper talks and all. So they also had the similar experiences, and when they had the similar experiences, I felt that it's okay. I'm going well. I don't need to be at the top of this class. I just need to have that level to compete with them and all. So I felt that, and even in mains, sir, I was never at the top. So I felt that this is going down. But it was only in the last few times, last few days and last few open tests, that you write again, you practice again, that I felt, yeah, in one of the tests, I was there at the top. So that was the only time when I was there at the top. So I would say, sir, for a first attempt, comparison is going to happen no matter what. No matter whatever answers you have done, whatever preparation you have done, there will be always someone who will be better than you. There will be always someone who is going to perform better than you. But it is always a good thing that you can compare with them, you can see your level with them, but don't judge yourself based on them, and don't doubt yourself based on them. um, So this is where we say that that quote that we always use: do your duty and don't worry about the outcomes. So just do whatever is required of you. Do that PYQ, do that syllabus that you have decided for today, do that target meeting that you have decided for today, do everything that you have in your hand. You do the controllables. Whatever you can, that you do. Whatever you can't, please don't get worried about it. Whatever the external voices are telling you, don't get worried about it. But whatever is in your capacity, you have to do. The rest of the thing, it will vary very differently. As if I say, in the context of the interview itself, sir, I have many people who were with me, who I believe that they were very very good than me, very outstanding than me, who have not made it into the list. So there also I would say that the outcomes can be very different. But there are many people who are there, and when I talk to them, they are also content with their performance. They are not worried about not making, because they'll be preparing for the next attempt, and they are very confident in whatever duty that they have done, so they are content with themselves. So it is very important to have content with yourself, and it is very important to do your duty and not worry about the outcomes at all, because this is a beautiful journey. So that I would suggest.
Some very not so related to exam, but fun questions that you have to choose one. Mamurti or Mohanlal?
Mohanlal sir.
Your favorite Kerala dish, Sadia or dosa or anything else?
Sadhya is a wholesome dish, sir. So Sadhya, maybe.
Like, Kerala is known for both cricket and football. So, what you like more?
So since I have grown up watching cricket, and also I'll say cricket, I have not much in Kerala because my father was in the army, so I was in all the states. So with football, I have very less relation because I was not here. So cricket.
Like, Kerala has everything in terms of nature. It has beaches, mountains, everything. So, what you would prefer?
So since I'm always seeing beaches, I would prefer the mountains.
Yeah, Trivandrum have some of the best beaches
Yes,
in the nation.
yes, lots of beaches. I am living near to a coastal area, so beaches is something I always see. So mountains.
You are living near Sanmugam or near the Kovalam area?
Kovalam area, sir.
The Kovalam area. That's very, very beautiful area.
Yes.
Kerala or Keralam?
So I don't have any issue with all Keralam, Kerala. Everything is set for me.
So it was a very nice talking to you, and you seem to be a very honest person, having clarity, and this was one of the best interviews that I had in the last 5 6 years. And thank you very much
Yes.
for giving the time. And I
I
really
would, I wanted to add, sir, the only thing that I regret with regard to meeting you very late, it was only in the last week that I came to know about this group and this initiative, sir. So in the last few weeks, we have open mock tests, and we don't get that evaluated. It's very hectic to get those evaluated. So when you said that you will be available for evaluating, especially the essay and ethics paper, the essay I was not that worried about it, but ethics I was worried about it, because I'm learning it from scratch, and this is my first mains. So I wanted some validation from anyone. So since you are someone who has done it many number of times, and that too with exceptional marks, getting a feedback from you was very change maker for me. In those last few days, you need that assurance. One, you can self assure yourself, that is one thing. But when you get that approval from someone else, so initially when I sent you, you were busy, obviously you are getting 200 to 300 copies. I never thought that my paper would be evaluated, but then you sent me a message regarding my essay and ethics paper, you evaluated that. I felt very happy because sir, earlier as we mentioned, there is a FOMO, that you are not getting attached to the other academies. So when someone that you associate not from your state but from someone else, so you are someone who's a we can say the king of ethics and all, so that person is evaluating your paper. And obviously I know, sir, there might be limitations on the comments, because the child is going to write that exam the very next day. So I tried to implement that. So the comment that I got was too much underlining. So I tried to limit my underlining. But there is only few things that you can do. But that assurance from you, sir, it was very happening for me. It changed it. I felt that now it's okay, now you just go and write. So someone who has done that a number of times has done that. So that was very helpful. And that is what, even when I continued in the group, I felt very good. The materials that you provided with respect to the essays, I could relate to it a lot, because that's the similar way that I used to write too. So I feel that whatever you are doing, sir, it's very great. I enjoy that you have been able to set an example for all of us on living your life in the way that you have decided to, and giving back to the society. That is something that I resonate with a lot. And I hope, sir, you continue this journey a lot. And I hope that you get all the success in your life, sir.
Thank you so much, Anusha, and I will always keep you in the wishes, and I am sure that you will set an example when you will join the civil services, and you will set an example. You will inspire many young women across the nation. I have no doubt about it. And just be like you are, very honest, clear in thoughts, not having any kind of no. First, you are straightforward. You speak your heart. Just be like this, and we need no, our country need people like you. Uh, there are states where the poverty rate is very huge. So we need people who are empathetic and like you. So it was a very nice talking to you, and thank you very much, Anusha.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Take care of yourself.
Okay, sir. Bye, sir.